Good evening, everybody. This is Bird Dog to Success with Ivan Oberon, and it is Thursday, April 24th. And it's kind of a weird week. Today is Thirsty Thursday, and this week, for some reason, I've been getting bunch of birthday wishes, and I don't know where these birthday wishes are coming from. I don't know if Facebook is messing with me because my birthday isn't until April 30th, and yet I'm getting birthday wishes for the last couple of days. And so thank you for those of you who are out there doing that for me. But it's not my birthday yet. I'm actually going to be out of town, unfortunately, for the first time I think ever. I'm going to Kansas City, Missouri next week for a week. And so for the first time ever, I'm going to be out of town during my birthday at the Got Money, Need Money event and the Thought Leadership Conference in Kansas City. And we're also meeting with some of our sponsors out there. So definitely excited for that. But, my family isn't necessarily thrilled that we don't get to celebrate my birthday here. And I think I'm just going to skip my birthday altogether this year because when I come back, then it's straight into everybody's birthdays. It's my wife's birthday. It's my mom's birthday. It's my sister's birthday. It's Mother's Day. It's one of my best friend's birthdays. So every weekend is basically just already booked. And you know what? Let's not. We're just gonna go ahead and skip mine altogether because I really don't need to celebrate this year. I guess there's other more important things to do. But thank you for that. And I wanted to talk a little bit tonight. I've been reading, one of the magic things is of course reading books and being able to have access to the information from people who have been out there and have studied successful people, have studied the habits of successful people, have gone out there and made great successes of themselves. And we have these magical things in books, which is why you hear people say, and I say, that leaders are readers, because there's nothing new under the sun. Everything's already been done. Everything is has been proven and tested, and people come and repackage different things and different success principles in different ways, and basically resell and remarket and re-promote the fact that those things are making an impact in their lives and helping them to change their lives as well. And that's what we do. So why wouldn't we want to share these different things that help us, that inspire us, that we know are principles that help take you to the next level? Because this isn't all just about real estate investing, and I know that's kind of the platform that we use. But the mentality that I'm really kind of shifting towards lately is entrepreneurship. It doesn't matter what strategy or what industry that you're really in. What we're really talking about is developing ourselves. Is about taking a proactive action towards improving ourselves on a consistent, regular, daily basis. And the acronym is CANI. So it's constant or continual and never ending improvement. Continual and never ending improvement. And that has nothing to do with going to school or college or getting a degree. It has everything to do with focusing on who you are as a person, focusing on the field that you are pursuing, whether it's working for somebody else, having your own business, being a real estate investor. It's all about improving who you are as a person so that you can perform at peak levels, right? So you can get to that top 10% of performers in whatever industry that you're in, whether it's real estate investing or whether it's sales or whether it's whatever it is at your job. Because what I tell people is also that you are already self-employed, and how you perform determines how well you do. So even if you're in a place where you hate your job, you don't want to be there, and you want to break out into something new, start realizing that you are self-employed already and that you are a salesperson already, because everything is sales, everything is relationships, and everything is about how do you perform at that next level. And if you can't do that now, understanding that everything that you're doing is either hurting or benefiting you, even if you're in a position that you cannot stand, you're not going to be able to make it very far as an entrepreneur when you do break out. So you got to start changing those thought patterns and the way that you think. And one of the things that Grant Cardone preaches is just having a bigger think. right? And you're gonna hear me drop names tonight because these are the guys that inspire me. These are the guys that I learn from. Brian Tracy and Grant Cardone are two of my most I would say powerful virtual mentors. Right, I'm being mentored by them through their material, through their videos, through their audios, through their books. And these guys, Brian Tracy in particular, I mean, he's definitely going to be my favorite as far as educators and coaches and successful salespeople and somebody who understands um, relationships and going out there. And anyway, very very successful guy, Tony Robbins and Les Brown, all these guys that inspire you as well. These are the things that you need to be, with the people that you need to be learning from. These are the guys that have spent, Brian Tracy spent over 3 decades just studying success principles, studying sales, studying all these different things that you can apply into your own life, that I work to apply into my own life every single day by starting my days with something educational and motivational. And so some of these principles that I'm going to share with you tonight, of course, come from the benefit of reading books. And that's another wonderful thing, is that you get ideas, you get ways that you get motivated, that you can inspire other people. And but what they say, the majority who control, or the 1% who controls 99% of the wealth are proven to read over 60 books a year. So now I'm getting totally off topic, but if you're not reading right now, make sure you go out there and read. I was going to take a speed reading course this summer too, but it didn't it didn't work out, and for some reason they only do it on the week on in the summers. So here we go. So who am I? Most of you obviously probably know, but that's me. I'm Ivan Oberon. I'm the co-founder of Coast to Coast RIA and co-host of Investing Coast to Coast with Pete Asmus and Ivan Oberon. And we're going to talk about how to think big in life's most critical situations and why that's a benefit to you, how you can apply it to your life, and how it's going to make you come out on top on these different scenarios. Right, there's our website, c2cria.com. That's where you can go to catch all of our podcasts. So if you're listening to this as a podcast right now, you can listen to all the other episodes. You can listen to our radio show. You can listen to Journey to Success and Experts Corner, all kinds of free resources for you guys on that website. All right. So the first topic we're going to talk about, or the first keyword we're going to talk about today is when little people try to drive you down, think big. And that's pretty big when you talk about social media and you talk about other people around you. And I witness this almost on a regular basis, right? You're out there doing good, and you're being positive, and you're putting your goals out there, and you're putting your dreams out there, and your vision out there, and you're doing well in your company, and you're aspiring to become whatever it is that you're aspiring to become, a real estate investor, an entrepreneur, run your own business. You know what I mean? And then you get the people around you that just beat you down, that tell you, no, you're doing that wrong. No, that strategy doesn't work. Or how do you think you're ever going to be able to accomplish that? What are you doing hanging around these other people? Like all these different things, all these negative people that come into your life, and those are little people. It doesn't matter how big they puff themselves out to be, they're little people, because instead of lifting you up, instead of bringing you up to a better level, they're beating you down, keeping you down, telling you that your dreams are no good, or that you're doing it wrong, and that their way is best. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to win when you refuse to fight petty people, right? Fighting little people reduces you to their size. It doesn't do anything for you. And the second point here is you got to expect to be snipped at. It is evidence that you're growing and making an impact. And Grant Cardone says, the first thing you got to do in business is get out from obscurity. Because if nobody knows who you are and what you're doing, it doesn't matter how good a product or service you have, right? If nobody knows, if they can't see you. So the first thing you got to do is get attention. And when you go out there and you get attention, the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to get criticism, right? And then the next thing that's going to happen after that, because you're going to continue to go out there and continue to get more attention, the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to get the haters. And after the haters comes the admiration, right? Because you persevered, you went through all that stuff, and Bottom line is you're gonna get people that are gonna hate on you. You're gonna get people that are gonna beat you down. You're gonna get those people in your life, and you gotta develop a thick skin and know that that's just part of it. And by the way, that means that you gotta be doing something right. Remind yourself that they are psychologically sick. You gotta be big. Feel sorry for them. Don't lash back out. Don't engage. And again, I see this happen on a regular basis. It's easy for people to go out there and snip at people, but what they're doing is they're wanting them to engage in some kind of internet brawl, or even you see this in your own personal lives, that people just make comments to get you to engage. So just understand that there's magic in thinking big and avoiding those situations, avoiding getting wrapped up in those situations. And it's so easy to forget, especially when you hit some rough spots. There's going to be a danger that your thinking will shrink in size, and when it does, you lose. As soon as you let that stuff get to you, as soon as you let it kind of make you shrink and squash your dreams and your belief in yourself and your confidence in yourself, your dreams begin to die, and that's when you lose. Okay, and those people win. So we're gonna continue going over this, and just ways that you can put these things. I'm gonna suggest that maybe even you go back and when we release the recording, and maybe put some of these guidelines on small cards, or make notes, or something, where you can see some of these things, if you feel any of these are real helpful to you as we go forward. But just know that you got to persevere through that stuff, so that you can continue making your dreams bigger and bigger. All right. So what happens sometimes? Then what if you get that I haven't got it feeling, that I haven't got what it takes, and it creeps up on you. You gotta think big, right? You gotta realize that you have what it takes in you. You're gonna hit those rough spots. I still hit those rough spots. We all hit those rough spots. I mean, all the big successful people still hit those rough spots, because new challenges come up, new haters come up, new there's going to be things that you're going to go, and as an entrepreneur, you're going to have this idea, and you're going to attempt this, and you're going to put this into motion, and it's not going to work, and maybe people will beat you down for it, maybe people will make fun of you, maybe you'll beat yourself up over it. But that's okay. You do have what it takes, otherwise you wouldn't still be here, you wouldn't keep fighting. And that's the testimony that you want to have. That's the story that you want to tell 20 years from now. And I remember hearing, or I was reading somewhere. I forget what book I was reading, but anyway, it was telling a story of a very successful businessman, had a huge company. He was being interviewed for a guy that wanted to earn some business. He wanted to sell him something. I forget what it was exactly, but part of the purpose of the story was how to build rapport with people. And he started talking to him about the history of his company, and he saw some things on his bookshelves, and just got the guy talking about the success that he's had, and where he came from, how he started, how he had basically sold everything that he had to get this thing started, and all these different things. That's the kind of story that you want. We have so many trials in this business and as entrepreneurs that nobody sees, nobody really will even remember. But one day, when you're standing where you want to be standing, with your partner, with your spouse, with your family, you're going on vacation, or you're doing whatever it is that you envision that you want to do, you can think about that stuff. And Pete and I envision this all the time, and I encourage you to do the same thing, because from the very beginning, from the day that we started, kind of thinking about becoming partners, we had this vision of where we're going to be one day, and where we're going to be sitting, and the way the windows looked, and the way the water is outside the window, and all these different things. And then be able to sit there, man, remember when we've had our first thing. So here's some examples and some ideas to help get you thinking big, and combat that I haven't got what it takes feeling. Okay, so the first thing is dress well, look important. Okay, it helps you to think important, it helps you to feel important. How you look on the outside is a big reflection of how you feel on the inside. And I can tell you from personal experience that this is true. And if you think you're weak, you're going to be weak. If you think you're inadequate, you are. If you think you're second class, you will be. You got to whip that natural tendency to sell yourself short with the way you look. That's one way you can combat it. Okay, and just like when I tell people, just force yourself to smile, because eventually it will change your disposition. Even if you don't feel like smiling, just mechanically force yourself to smile, and after a while, you're just like, yeah, man, it changes the way that you feel. But my personal experience with this, and I was in the insurance business for 10 years, and there's a lot of insurance agents out there. There's a lot of different salespeople out there, and a lot of them have gotten into the habit of being semi-casual. They wear polos and slacks, or khakis, or whatever it is. And from day one up until the day that I resigned, I always wore dress pants, button-up dress shirt, and a tie without fail. I always did. Occasionally, when we had, I participated in golf tournaments and stuff like that. So in those days, I didn't. In those days, I wore the proper attire and didn't wear a tie to the golf course. Um, but I always did that because I didn't feel like I was ready to go until that takes place. And I experienced it now because ever since I resigned and went into entrepreneurship full time, I work from home most of the time. If I'm not traveling, I'm pretty much working from home, and it's easy to just get out of bed and put on my workout shorts and a t-shirt, and get started on my day, right? Do my devotionals, do some reading, write down my goals, get breakfast, get everything going. But then I don't feel like, if I'm going to do a video, for example, then I don't really feel like doing a video, because the last thing I want to do is do a video if I don't look my best. And so then I got to go, put on a nice shirt and a tie. I gotta do that stuff. And now, what if I don't feel like it? Well, that's the whole point. If I'm not dressing well, then I'm not gonna feel like doing some of these other things, because image is everything, right? So when we put ourselves out there, you got to make sure that you're taking pride in what you do and what you look like. And again, if you watch Brian Tracy, if you see him, man, he's got this thing down. He's always wearing blue and white, because blue and white are psychologically are two colors that help induce trust and kind of a level of comfort in people. And so, you start seeing what these other successful people are doing, who have studied all these principles, and that's what they do. But they always look their best, always. All right, so it's critical. And man, don't you feel great when you put on a, like, I know I feel good when I put on my nice suits, and maybe it's not the most fun to wear those types of things, but you feel good in them. You feel confident. Focus on your assets is a second key to this one. Is build yourself a sell yourself to yourself commercial and use it. Okay, learn to supercharge yourself. And there's books out there on this material. And all this is you can write kind of a self-affirming, uh, I don't know, like a note. You basically just go out there and write out your good qualities and what you're going to do and what you're going to achieve, and great things are supposed to happen to me, and I am the best, and believe in yourself, and believe that wonderful things are going to happen to you, and you just sell it to yourself. Sell yourself how great you are. Sell yourself how important you are, how well you're going to do, how you're pursuing your dreams, how motivated you are. And it may seem silly, and it may seem whatever it is, but I'm telling you that most people just don't do it, and it's only silly to them. It won't be silly to you once you start reaping the benefits of taking those kinds of actions and going out there and being silly. Okay, the successful people are not your average people. Okay, what you would consider successful, what you would consider a big success, they're not your average people, because they don't do average things. And any of those things that seem silly or uncomfortable are only because you're not used to doing them, and nobody teaches them, and the people around you aren't doing them either. And there's a reason for that, and there's a reason for why they're where they are in their lives. All right. Now, the third point here, getting over this whole "I haven't got what it takes," is put other people in proper perspective. Because sometimes you might feel like you're going to shrink when you're in the presence of somebody else, right? When you're in the presence of maybe your superior or a boss, or maybe you're going to meet somebody who's really important, and you're not really sure how to handle that. The other person is just as human as you are. Okay, so put other people in proper perspective. Don't always be putting people on this pedestal that makes you think that they're so much better than you. And I'll give you a quick example of something that happened to me years ago that made a big difference. Now, I met somebody who later on came to find out was a very important person, very influential, and somebody that I'm blessed to have as an active role in my life, an active part of my life right now, because of what a great man he is. But I didn't know who he was when I first met him. I didn't know how connected he was, where he was in the industry, what he did, and the clout that he carried. And so when we had this conversation, I was dressed well, and I was presenting myself. I was selling myself. I was selling what we were doing, and because I didn't realize who he was, I thought he was just another guy. Another guy doing good, another guy being out there and hustling and doing what we need to do and networking. But I was able to have authority, right? I was able to present in a way that was like, look, this is who I am, this is what I believe in, this is how I want it to be, and this is how we can work together. And because I took that stand, I had that confidence, and probably because I didn't know who he was, because I probably would have behaved a little bit differently, maybe not as assertive, maybe I would have been a little bit more I don't know, in awe, in a sense, I suppose. But we probably wouldn't have what happened probably wouldn't have happened, and we wouldn't be where we are today if that had happened. So just put other people in proper perspective. They're just people. Be yourself, be confident, and sell yourself to yourself. Know that you're out there and you're a conqueror. And it may sound like motivational rah rah, but you gotta do that stuff. I can tell you it works. Right? So just think big enough to see how good you really are. All right, next point that we'll talk about, this we kind of touched on it earlier, but this will extend into other areas of your life as well. So when an argument or a quarrel seems inevitable, think big. Okay, you got to successfully resist the temptation to argue and quarrel with anybody, whether it's somebody online, whether it's your friend, whether it's your spouse, your significant other, your children, your parents, your in-laws. It doesn't matter. You gotta resist the temptation to argue or quarrel or lash back out at somebody, because all it's going to do is drag you down. It's going to suck so much time out of your life. It's going to suck so much energy out of positive energy out of your life. It's going to derail what you're doing. And you got to ask yourself honestly, how is this thing, is this thing really that important to me to argue about? What are you going to get out of it? And in most cases, when you ask yourself that question honestly, the answer is no. The answer is it's not worth it. It's usually more worth it to say something nice and walk away, take a minute to cool off, or let everybody cool off, and then come back when you have clear minds. Okay? Always remind yourself, you never gain anything from an argument, but you always lose something. You're always going to lose something by engaging in any kind of argument with anybody. It doesn't matter where you are, and honestly, the most of the arguments that I see are online. Believe it or not, it just boggles my mind, and I never engage. I always look away. I move on. I don't care whose point is right, because what they're doing is not right. The way that they're going about things is not right, and it's not getting them closer to where they want to go in life. It just isn't. It never will. So you got to think big enough to see that quarrels, arguments, and feuds, fusses, all that kind of stuff will never help you get to where you want to go. Just keep that in mind, and you'll be more successful, because you'll have more time. You'll have more time to do things that will get you to where your goals are. All right. Now, when you feel defeated, the next point, think big. It's not possible for you guys to achieve large successes without hardships, like we were talking about. You're going to hit setbacks, but it is possible to live the rest of your life without defeat. Big thinkers react to setbacks. Okay, and they do it in a specific way. You have to get used to living your life knowing that you're going to run into challenges and almost welcoming them, right? You've heard the term fail fast and fail forward, right? You've heard about all the big successes that you never would have gotten anywhere if they didn't fail. So you got to regard every setback as a lesson. You got to learn from it. You got to research it. You got to use it to propel you forward and salvage something from every setback. Okay, man, I know that you guys have gone through some crazy things in your life. Okay, business aside, and growing your business, aside, your career aside, just things in life, right? I mean, we go through so many things that we feel are sufferings that are unmerited, right? In relationships and losses and getting laid off and losing friends, deaths, whatever it is. There's always a lesson to be learned, and you have to learn to force yourself to let those things make you better and not make you bitter, because you always have that choice. Everything can either make you better or it can make you bitter, and both kinds of people. Both people that you've seen go through something, and man, I mean, it's not fun to be around them. Like you feel for them. You want to empathize. You want to be there for them. But it's just terrible to be around them, because they just go on and on and on. And I mean, here we go, 3 weeks later, they're still complaining, and they're being made bitter, right? And then you have those people that are going through some horrible things, maybe worse than you've ever experienced, and they have some kind of like a sort of peace about them, right? And of course, there's more to it than just making that choice. They, in my opinion, they obviously have conditioned themselves, and they're in tune with themselves and with their creator, and they're making that choice to do that. But you can see, man, they're a pleasure to be around. They're more of a pleasure to be around, and then you do want to feel more empathetic and feel for them and be there for them, because it's easier to be there for them, because they already are understanding, man, this is terrible, but this is what I'm learning from it. This is what I'm going to get out of it. And take a step back and take accountability. So for those times where there's a failure or a mistake, be accountable. Take accountability. Take responsibility for any of those things, whether you feel it was your fault or not, whether all the evidence points to it being your fault or not. Because when you take accountability for it and responsibility for it, that gives you power. That gives you the power to change it and to move forward. And it gives you the power to analyze things. Okay, here's where I am now. What happened? How can I prevent this from happening again? How can I do it better next time? So you can salvage something from every setback. Now, you gotta blend persistence with experimentation. What does that mean? Back off and start afresh with a new approach. So persistence. If you fail, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. If you fall down, you got to keep getting up. But you don't do the same thing every single time, right? You don't go back and do the same thing every time you get up and go try it again, go do it again, go do it again the same way. You got to experiment. And if you're not sure what to do, if you you know what I mean, then you got to take a step back. You do. You gotta go kind of close yourself off somewhere quiet. You gotta go and help yourself think. Most people out there will not take time to just be quiet. They got to have music. They got to have some kind of background noise. They got to have whatever it is, the TV on, anything. They got to have an excuse to not be alone with their thoughts. And that's not what successful people do. The most successful people always take some kind of retreat in their own minds. And this is something that I'm working on also, because my mind is very busy, always doing different things, and it's difficult when you're in it, when you're going so fast and in so many different directions, and you're hitting a challenge. It's difficult to go and just, okay, I gotta just set back, be quiet, lock myself away, and not necessarily go talk to other people about it. Okay, talk to yourself about it, have some introspection, and then start anew. Have a fresh approach, have a fresh mind. Okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna start anew, and I'm gonna keep moving forward. But now we're gonna do this differently. Now we're gonna try this. Now we're gonna do this approach, and that next approach might not work perfectly either. And then you start again. Okay, you got to think big enough to see that defeat is only a state of mind and nothing more. It's only a state of mind. If you, and I'm not telling you guys anything that you don't know, okay? Because you've heard it before, you know what I mean? You've watched Rocky movies and all these different things, and you've heard other people say it, but it's just a state of mind. But our minds control everything, and that's why it's so important to continually feed it positive things, because only one negative thought can screw you up. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that, you have all this positive stuff, right? You have all these positive thoughts, you have all these positive experiences, and you have one negative experience or one negative thought that day, or one thing to bring you down, and then that kind of erases everything else. That's like the only thing your mind focuses on. So don't you think that you really got to put 10 times the amount of energy into feeding your mind stuff that is positive, feeding your mind stuff that is right, doing all these stupid little exercises that people criticize you for and tell you it's a waste of time, and it's not. Don't believe it. Writing your goals down, you got to do it. Even if, look, just the exercise of writing down the things that you want as though you've already had them, and doing that on a daily basis will keep you elevated, will keep your mind focused. Yes, you do have to go out there and then take the other steps. Put timelines down, set action steps, set sequences, set priorities, do all those different things to get you moving forward on your goals. But you're not going to do a 10-year plan in a broken down action plan every single day for every single goal that you have. You got to do, but you still got to do something else. And that combines the power of intention also, because now you're focusing on those things. You're focusing on your chief aims, your chief goals in life. And the more you focus on them by writing them down, by thinking about them, by talking about them, the more your subconscious mind will help to put you in places and opportunities and people and conversations to help those things happen, to help get fill in those action steps and all those different things that you're going to do too. But you gotta do those things. You gotta feed your mind and your vision and your dream on a daily basis. So don't let anybody criticize you for doing those things that are good and that are right. All right. The next point, we're gonna take this one a little bit closer to home. Right. So when romance starts to slip, think big. You got to concentrate on the best qualities of the person that you love, and that you want to love you, and put the little things where they belong, in the secondary position. Okay. This whole negative, petty, she's unfair to me, he's unfair to me, I'm gonna get even, all that kind of crap. Just it murders any romance. It destroys any kind of affection that you can have, and that can be yours, and that you've had. And it takes time to rebuild that stuff. So always focus on the best qualities of the other person, because you're with them for some reason, right? Something drew you to them, so they have good qualities. None of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. We all have flaws, and we might all have things that bother us about the other person. But if you're committed, you gotta concentrate on the best qualities of your partners, and of course on other people around you, your business partners, your coworkers. All those different things will help you be happier and have better relationships, and both intimate relationships and friendship relationships. You got to compliment people. One of the things that I read that I need to put into practice more, but I work on doing it, is just compliment people at any opportunity that you have, any chance that you have. And man, if that doesn't make you a leader, if that doesn't make you somebody who advances because more and more people like you, whether it's in your workplace, it's in your company, wherever you are, because you give people compliments, and people like being around other people that help them to feel well about themselves, right? Even if they don't know that you're doing it intentionally, and it makes you feel good too. And it'll help you with your relationships. And just a little relationship advice here is, do something special for your mate on a regular basis, whatever it is. I'll share with you little relationship advice for my own marriage. My wife and I never wake up or get out of bed without greeting each other. We never go to bed without saying goodnight and whatever else. We never leave the house without saying a proper goodbye. We never enter the house without saying a proper hello. We never so much as go outside without that. We never, or I should use affirmative stuff, right? We always bless our meal and kiss each other before every single meal. We do all these little things that I guess you can consider them to be special little things, but they are, because it's all those little things that amount to something. I travel quite a bit, and I never think about it because I'm always busy getting ready and all these different things. But every time I get to my destination, somehow my wife has managed to sneak in a note in my suitcase somewhere. And as I'm unpacking, as I'm doing these different things, and sometimes I find it the first day, sometimes I don't get it until the third day, or whatever. But I find it, and she man, and she's just so thoughtful, and encourages me to be more thoughtful. And not to get too much into my own thing, but that's the whole point here. You got to think bigger. You got to think big to find those secret to those relationship type joys. And it's all those little things that culminate and that add into a wonderful relationship. So hopefully that's helpful to you guys. I've well, I don't know. I can talk about that kind of stuff all day, like because I travel, so I'll take a shower and then I'll write like I love you in the mirror and take a picture of it and send it to her. And I mean, because she does so much for me. It's amazing. Very lucky. All right, and one of the last points that we're going to talk about here is when you feel your progress on the job slowing down, think big. It doesn't matter what kind of job you have or what job you're talking about. It's just when you're doing a job, when you're building your company, when you're working at your company for your employer or whatever it is that you're doing, when you feel your progress on the job slowing down, think big. And I've been the victim of that too. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what your occupation is or your status or uh, if you want to get paid more, increasing the quality and quantity of your output is going to play a big role. And here's some things that you can do better. Because, I mean, man, when I was in insurance, I had some reasons to get out, and I had some reasons why I just didn't feel like going there anymore. And man, I still had to show up and I still had to perform because, I had to eat. But man, I felt my progress slowing down. And so we got to ask yourself, how can I do better? Or think, I can do better. The best is attainable. There's room for everything to be better. Nothing in this world is being done as well as it could be. Okay. And when you think I can do better, ways to do better will appear. It's like we talked about your subconscious mind. If you ask it the right questions, it's going to give you the right answers. That's why it's so important not to ask yourself the wrong questions, right? Because whatever it is, your mind and your subconscious will give you the answer. So it's like Pete says too. It's all about the questions that you ask. Thinking about I can do it better switches you into being a more creative person. They call it mind storming. What a lot of successful people do is they'll get in a room and they'll have a problem. They'll write the problem at the top of the page, and then below the problem they start writing out solutions. How can you fix this? Let's see if we can find 25 solutions, and they call it mind storming. 25 solutions for this problem. What do we do? And then they delineate it down to what they think is going to be the most effective solution. And that's what you do. So there's always a reason. How can I do better? Ask yourself during the day, is what I'm doing right now the most effective use of my time? You understand that 20% of what you do creates 80% of your results. So what is that 20% of your day? What are those things that you need to focus on to get yourself at least the 80 or more percent of your results that you want for that day? And then do more of those things. So it's all about the questions that you ask. Now, I don't know how exactly to pronounce this name, but Publilius Cyrus was was a slave back in the ancient days, and he actually won his freedom because of his creativity and his sharp mind and his ability to think bigger. His master gave him his freedom, and he gave this quote. It says, "A wise man will be a master of his mind; a fool will be its slave." And if you think about that for a minute, when I think about it, it's your mind you're bombarded with all kinds of stuff all the time, right? And usually it's the negative stuff that comes at you that is always trying to get in because it's all this negative stuff around you. It's funny how the positive stuff, you have to go out there and seek after it. You have to go out there to want to purposely consume it, where all the negative stuff comes at you freely. And I mean, you almost gotta block it. So a master of his mind is somebody who feeds their mind with something positive every day, feeds their mind with something educational every day, feeds their mind with something motivational and inspirational every day, and focuses on whatever it is that you want to improve in, whatever area or field that you're in, that you want to become an expert, that you want to get to the top 10% in, that's the kind of stuff that you feed your mind. And that's how you become the master of your mind, because you're programming your mind with the information and the tools and the fuel to get you to that next level of you. And the fool is a slave to his own mind because he doesn't do that. He just lets whatever comes his way, whatever's on TV, whatever his friends tell him, whatever other people in society and the media and all those different things. That's why you do have so many slaves out there. That's why you do have so many people that they're just happy with the status quo, and yeah, government, give me whatever it is that you're going to give me, and I'm entitled to all this kind of stuff, and you become a slave, unable to do anything other than what you're told. And so take that to heart and become a master of your own mind. Now, lastly, here are some of my links. You can go to youtube.com/Uber Ivan. That's UBERIBAN. And I know that's should be my name, but when I created it, was a long time ago, along with my Facebook, and so that's what it is now. Facebook.com/Uber Ivan. Facebook.com/C2C Ria, REIA. That's our Facebook page, our fan page, and then of course you can go to just our regular website at c2cria.com, like in the beginning, to check out all our free resources, and check out thinkingtosucceed.com, and come join our 21-day challenge at c2cria.com/21-day challenge. And in that challenge that Pete put together, it's all about accountability. It's all about getting out there, getting out of your comfort zone, and writing your goals every day in the present tense affirmative in 3 areas of your life, and then posting them out so that other people can hold you accountable, so that you can hold yourself accountable, and so that you can motivate other people to greatness, because they're going to see what you're doing. They're going to get motivated, and we hear stories already every single day about how their lives are changing, about how different things are coming into their lives because they're attracting them now by doing those things. And it's not just people that have never accomplished anything either. It's people who have been successful business people who have never really done that proactively before, that all of a sudden, man, it's just bringing a whole new level of clarity. So I encourage you to do that. And it's the way that it's designed. It's a very easy way to get started, especially for those of you who have never really written goals before, who feel intimidated, or I think you might feel intimidated by telling, oh, you have to write down this goal, and you have to take this step, and you have to take that step, and you have to delineate it, and you have to create these action steps, and how do you do this? Like, that might be overwhelming to you at first. Now, that's eventually where you're going to be, but first, just get in the habit of writing them down on a daily basis, and that's really what the 21-day challenge is all about, and to inspire and encourage those around you, because there's always ways to give back in everything that you do. You don't have to reach a certain level or a certain pinnacle in life to say, well, when I get to this such and such a place, I'm going to give back to others. You can do that right now. You can do that with everything that you do. And the 21-day challenge is awesome for that, because other people notice, they take notice, and then they start asking you about your life and what changes are happening, and then they start doing it too. And then the Thinking to Succeed program at thinkingtosucceed.com, that's kind of the next step where we really go more in depth with you on how to do those, how to create 12 month, 10-year vision plans, how to do things for business, for personal, for finance, for career, and all those different things over a period of time. So go check those two things out, and by all means, connect with me on Facebook if you're not already connected with me on Facebook, and email me if you have any questions at ivan@c2cread.com, and I'd be happy to connect with you. So that's going to do it for tonight, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this presentation, this webinar. We're changing things up every week, and I'm doing everything that I can to bring value to you guys from the things that I experience in my life and every single week. And that's another reason that you need to improve yourselves and work on improving yourself on a daily basis. Because again, if I didn't do that, if the people out there who are providing other content and other material for you guys didn't do that for themselves, they wouldn't be able to provide that value to you. And there's often times that, I go 4, 5, 6 days, and I'm a day or two before my webinar, and I still don't know what I'm going to talk about. But then something happens that speaks to me, that I find valuable, that I can share with you guys. So I hope you found this valuable. It's something that really spoke to me as well. So if you have any questions, or if you want to make any comments, just go ahead and raise your hand, and I'd be happy to do that. It doesn't have to be pertaining to the material that we cover tonight. It can be about real estate. It can be about business. It can be about, you know, managing your money. Whatever it is, I'd be happy to do that for you right now. And if you don't have any questions or comments, then we'll go ahead and wrap it up for the night. Okay, so I guess you guys are all good. Again, I hope you enjoyed your time with me, and we'll catch you next time. Have a great night. Go spend some time with your family. Make it a great Friday. Tomorrow is Flip It Friday. Make sure that you're ready to keep going and put your pedal to the metal. And I'm getting ready for my trip. I'm excited about that. We're gonna do some amazing things. Keep connected with us, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.